Welcome back, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. Today, I would love to welcome Tom Paladino, is a distinguished scholar, energy researcher hailing from Florida. He delves into the profound realm of scalar energy, the fundamental life force permeating every aspect of our world, space, and the universe. This incredible energy originates from celestial bodies such as the sun and stars, known by various synonymous terms like chi, prana, om, mana, life force, pyramid energy, or 0 point energy. Consequently, all spiritual, cognitive, emotional, and physical phenomena find their origins and sustenance through scalar energy instructions, bringing order to the vast expanse of existence. I love this topic and I'm passionate about it. Welcome, Tom, to A Little Less Fear podcast.
Thank you, Doctor. My pleasure to be here, sir.
Well, this is really incredible. I spent some hours on your website and just really reading about this technology and it's all the testimonials, and it's just really incredibly fascinating. I just really don't even know where to start because I'm just bombarded with so many thoughts already going through my head, and I was hoping that you can guide us by giving us some understanding of this instructive power and how you came into this understanding yourself.
Yeah, it is instructive power. We will speak about scalar energy. It's not electromagnetic energy. So
Okay.
let me define what I mean. Scalar energy is the initial energy of the universe. It is the animating force of the sun of our solar system, the animating force of the stars. This force is fundamental. It is a first cause. So all of nature derives its, if you will, life, its creation, its sustenance from this energy. Scalar energy is the cause of creation. That's so important.
Scalar energy is the cause of creation.
Now, if we look at the universe, you have to say to yourself, there's always a cause and effect. And if you look back at the cause, it's always energy, light. Why? Energy, light is fundamental. The rest of creation is not a first cause. The rest of creation is the effect. So if you want to look at the what drives the universe, it's always light, energy. In specific, the light from the sun and the stars. That's the initial energy of the universe. That's why my work is so important. I am going back to the root cause. I am going back to that fundament that drives the universe.
I absolutely love this. Going back to the fundament that drives the universe. How did you even come to this perspective? What inspired you to find this? Or, I mean, how did this knowledge come to you?
Yeah, it is knowledge. It's God-given knowledge. By reading the Bible, by understanding nature, by trying to copy nature. If you look at the universe and you say to yourself, where does all the energy, where does the light come from? All
Yes.
energy, all light originates from the sun and the stars. And again, now this we're going back to the top of creation, which is the cause, not the effect. So if you
Yes.
really want to understand the universe, including planet Earth, you have to look at the cause. What is the driving, motivating force? It's energy. And in specific, it's not electricity, it's scalar energy. So I've been able to harness the energy of the sun and the stars, scalar energy, not electricity. And in so doing, I've been able now to explain some hitherto unexplainable theories. I've been able to demonstrate some things that you cannot readily demonstrate with electricity. Now, the reason I say that is because I have an advantage. I work with scalar energy instruments that allow me to access the fabric of nature. A scalar energy instrument allows me to have command over nature. That's right. So with scalar energy, we're in the driver's seat. Scalar energy serves as the instructions for all creation. So before you have creation, you need intelligence, instructions. That's what I'm working with. Scalar instruction, scalar intelligence that dictates nature.
Scalar intelligence that dictates nature. I'm trying to understand this in, for some reason, something
What?
mathematical is coming to mind.
Okay.
Are there any numbers in this instruction?
All the time. There's the
Okay.
phi ratio, PHI. And
Okay.
if you look at the phi ratio, it's an irrational number. It's not a repeating number. It's an infinite number. Why? The phi ratio, if you will, embodied in scalar energy, this phi value is infinite. Why? Scalar energy is infinite. Why? The
Yes.
universe is infinite. So
Yes.
that's a good point, doctor. If we live in an infinite universe, you have to describe it by an infinite mathematical value. And
Right.
that infinite mathematical value is phi. And in particular, I'm going to hold this up. This is a photograph of a scalar wave.
Wow. I
A
even see
major,
like a helix. It almost looks like
yes, it is. It looks like DNA.
it
Now,
does look like DNA.
to describe that, there's a major groove and a minor groove. The major groove is greater in length by the order of phi to that of the minor groove. So if a phi
In that
value is,
perfect order all the time
yes,
and that's the perfection of it.
yes. So this is the Fibonacci sequence. Now, what am I
Yes.
getting at? If we measured the major groove, we'll call it 1.618, the value of phi, the divine proportion, the minor groove would be 1. So you have 1.618 to 1, 1.618 to 1. That embodies the Fibonacci sequence. So when we take this Fibonacci sequence and then we instruct nature, this is why you see the Fibonacci sequence throughout nature,
Hmm.
because this is the driving force. This is the cause.
And so the phi ratio, which is the fundamental cause, that racial aspect that's putting things in its divine order, the way
Yes,
it's purposely intended to be.
yes, yes. Thank you.
Oh, okay. And so what ends up happening with, let's go back here to, okay, so you develop these energy instruments capable of transmitting instructive energy to heal individuals remotely with remarkable success in treating various quantum illnesses. What is
Yes,
a quantum illness?
it's an energetic illness. I don't work at the biological level, I work at the informational level. For instance, if I wanted to look at a person, this instrument behind me, this scalar energy instrument, this quantum instrument, can ascertain the disease signature of cancer.
Okay.
And in so doing, if the instrument can ascertain the disease signature of cancer, this energy can correct that disease signature.
Mhm.
You see, we never work at the chemical level, we work at the level of instructions. There's a significant difference. Now, I'm going to explain to the audience how I do that.
Yes.
Before I do that, I have to, once again, inculcate the matter that this is scalar energy, not electromagnetic energy. That
Okay.
scalar energy is a new branch of physics. This is quantum physics. How do I work with people or animals? I work with people or animals by way of a photograph. My photograph has my quantum signature, my energy signature. I never work with people. The instruments are designed to work with photographs. Now, if I had cancer, this energy of cancer, this signature of cancer would be on my photograph. And with the scalar energy instrument, I'm able to access the signature of cancer and negate it or remove it. So we're never working at the biological level. We never work with people. We work with the aura or the energy field of a person.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say the auric field. I was trying to,
Yes,
because as you're saying this, I'm wondering, well, if I were to simplify this for just your everyday person, how could I explain this to them? The only thing that kept coming to me was their auric field, their energy frequency, their energetic signature, as you're saying, that's given off, which is you could be in temperature, could be in color form, but whatnot. I mean, it can even extend a certain outward or inward, or depending on somebody's energetic form or signature, as you said. And so the way I'm understanding this is through your quantum mechanical technological advancement, you're able to take the energy from the universal energy from the chi or the mana or the prana energy from the
yes,
stars and the sun, and
yes,
transmute that even through a picture, because there is a signature that already exists for that individual, whether it's in the picture
yes,
or not, which is why people are able to think about someone and know what even somebody's energy is giving off simply by their thoughts, because that energy already exists.
Yes.
which is why the speed of thought is faster than the speed of speech, because it's almost like the speed of light versus the speed of sound.
Yes. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So now we're working in this realm of light, of energy, and we're beyond physical constraints. My work is non-physical intelligence. Now, isn't this the easy way to do it? To look at a photograph through this instrument, to place a photograph inside the instrument. And that scalar energy instrument now will look for the disease signature. It could look for the disease signature of a virus. It could look for the disease signature of cancer. Everything has a mark, a signature, some type of signal. And if we can flip the polarity, or we can, if you will, negate the disease signature of anything, it ceases to exist in a informational body. Now, let me offer this analogy to your audience.
Yes.
If you're an architect, or any of you are in the building trades, you have plans. I don't care if it's landscaping, I don't care if it's structural plans for a building. Before you go out there and build, or before you go out there and landscape, you have plans, and you follow those plans.
Blueprints. Yeah.
Blueprints. Thank you. So that's the realm that I'm working at. I'm not, if you will, building a house. I am looking for the information that builds the house. So what's the point? When I work with a person's photograph, I don't work at the biochemical level building the house. I work above that at the informational level that dictates the building of the house. And if the house is inbuilt with cancer, that's a mistake. We simply change the blueprints. We simply change the architectural plans to reflect that we don't want cancer in the informational plane, and then it doesn't show up in the biological plane.
I love this. And so okay, this is really incredible. It's fascinating. And so I can understand how this works for cancer now, how it can function to re I almost said rewire, but it's not rewiring because now I'm bringing it physical. How it can re-instruct the body to go back to its natural well-being, the way a
Yes.
human body is supposed to be, the way we are supposed to
Yes.
be instructed, um, naturally and fundamentally, the way nature intended.
Thank
And
you.
so, thank you, you're welcome. And so, going into when I was on your website, I was looking at some of your programs. I was looking at natural foods program, fat metabolism program, addiction and chemical, female hormone, male hormone. Let's just go with the male hormone because that fascinated me. Because I'm a little dude. I'm always like, I'd like to be pumped and ripped one of these days. And is that possible for me? And I work out so hard. And what am I missing? And when I was looking at your website, I was like, well, this is interesting. And I mean, how would this work for to help me understand this part?
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I am on male hormones also. So let's say I want to impart a hormone to a person. I do it energetically. So nobody's going to take a potion, nobody's going to take a pill, etc. Let's say I wanted to impart testosterone. I would actually take a photograph of testosterone, which is an energy field. Again, we're not going to ingest anything. It's not a transdermal patch. I would
Right.
take my photograph and place it in the instrument with the photograph of testosterone. There's a sharing of information, not a sharing of chemicals.
Right.
The download of testosterone enters into my quantum field. I assume the energy of testosterone, which is non-physical light. That non-physical light instructs me to be stronger. That testosterone is the light equivalent of the chemical. Again, we don't work with chemicals, we work at a higher level of light instructions. Many people go on the testosterone program, say they're stronger, they have greater vitality. Why? Because we're receiving the energy of male hormones, not the chemical version of male hormones. There's a big difference, but nonetheless, there are benefits to be derived from downloading the energy of a male hormone.
Now, thank you for that. That definitely makes sense now. If Does that affect the body biologically afterwards? Let's say somebody's levels were low. Will
Yeah.
that then? I mean, to me, it makes sense that it would. but I just wanted some confirmation that would
Yes.
that then affect the actual biological levels?
Yes, to answer your question, that many men and women on female hormones have said that their markers, their blood panels are better. Uh, for instance, many people say that they don't have the irritability while they're on this type of light hormone program. Others say that they can sleep better. They don't have hot flashes. Men say they're stronger. Women say that they have a regular menstrual flow. So this is the new science in which we're going to finally have to define how energy can regulate everything, including the aura, not the biological body, the energetic body. To be clear, this is not medical science. This is a new science that is not taught by academia.
Well, it will be soon.
Yeah, it should be. It should be.
It will be. It should,
It sh
which it means it will. It's on its way. Um, and thank you for paving that way, by the way. By the way, thank you. And so what's fascinating as you're saying all this, I'm just I'm thinking here, I'm feeling, since we are energetic beings and this energy is the answer to everything, even to our problems. I mean, to our problems and our wisdom. I mean, energy is the overall
Yes.
encompassing answer to everything because it can't be created or destroyed. Energy is energy. It's all around. It always has been and always will be.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
we've got this infinite power, this infinite scalar energy that exists within our time space reality. And so within this existence, I can imagine that this type of energy will eventually be able to do much more than just, as you're saying right now, doesn't do things biologically, but in with time it will. I mean, just as energy evolves, I mean, this is going to keep evolving as well and find its way because life always finds a way.
Yeah, I concur with you, and we've just scratched the limit. This energy has, well, it has really an infinite number of possibilities because it's the energy that dictates nature. And if you look at the outcome of nature, the effect are billions upon billions of events, billions of upon billions of circumstances. And what drives those events? The effect, scalar energy. In the future, I want to be able to take this energy and light up a city. I can take the energy now and light up a light bulb.
Wow, that's amazing.
I want to be able to take this energy and illuminate 1 million light bulbs.
Or run car vehicles.
Yes, or power factories, etc. So everything we're doing now with coal and electricity and nuclear should someday be replaced by this energy, which is far superior. Far
And
superior.
as you're saying this, oh yeah, it's definitely far superior. I mean, because it's infinite.
Yeah,
And
it is.
so,
It is infinite.
and even in this infinite energy, I'm feeling that, I mean, it'll be, oh man, Tom, this is amazing. I'm so
You,
proud of you,
you
Tom. This is
oh,
amazing.
thank you. Thank you, Doc. You see the prospect here. Without equivocation, energy puts us in the driver's seat. Right now, we're at the level of effect trying to push the car. Once you start working with energy, you control nature, you're driving the car. There's a gigantic difference between driving the car and pushing the car. So what's that analogy all about? We're finally able to control nature. Scalar energy will allow us to mandate to control nature.
And the beautiful thing about this that I'm feeling is that it will enable us, and it's always given us this permission, except it's being discovered, and you're rediscovering what's already been out there. And in your rediscovering what's always been, you're sharing this knowledge, and by doing this, there's no way to change it, meaning manipulate in any negative way, because it's instructed to do something in a divine way with its divine
Yes.
purpose.
Yes, thank you. Now, to also inculcate upon the audience, who created the sun and the stars? Well, from my Christian vantage point, it's God. So this energy is from God. It's a divine energy. So what's the point? It cannot be manipulated. This is
Right.
the energy that drives, it animates the universe. There's nothing that can stop this energy. Nothing, if you will, can prevent this energy. I'm going to show you an experiment from, if you will, reaching its mark. I'm going to hold up a wooden board. This is the culinary board. Now, scalar energy passes through the galaxies. Nothing can prevent this from reaching its mark. If I hold this up to the instrument,
It's still going to go through.
yeah, the light bulb still animates. Now, that's an indication that nothing can stop scalar energy. That, if you will, it's the energy that cannot be manipulated. It's the energy that we're all looking for without any pollution, an infinite source of energy, clean, safe. This is it.
This is it. How long have you been working on this?
That's a good 50 years, doctor. I like.
50, that you've been working on this for 50 years?
Yes.
So since you were like a sixth grader?
Yeah, to the about. That's correct. Yeah,
And
that's correct.
what fascinated a sixth grader back then? What
Yeah,
ignited your
very good.
passion?
I read about Nikola Tesla, and Tesla called the energy radiant energy, but I knew that radiant energy meant scalar energy. That is the free energy of the universe. And when Tesla wrote about radiant energy, he was no longer working with AC electricity. Frequently, Tesla would tell his coworkers that he was going to tap the power of the stars or the sun. And he built gigantic scalar energy towers. Those towers had an electrical dynamo to facilitate the operation. But once they were powered, those scalar energy towers could capture and work through the fabric of space-time, work through the scalar energy dimension. So the long story short, Tesla inspired me. I read about his free energy works. To this day, they're poorly understood, but Tesla was able to capture the energy of the sun.
This is amazing. This is amazing, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for continuing your passion all these years.
Yeah, it's let me say this. It's a solitary path because nobody's ever followed Tesla to the point that I have, to the point of exegesis, to the specific avenue that I have. First of all, you have to develop instruments, then you have to understand to manipulate, how to control those instruments. It's a lifetime of work. And, everything that I've learned is the hard way. Nature does not give up her secrets,
Right, right.
uh, uh, if you will, in a voluntary fashion. Nature is very begrudging about her secrets. So, long
Oh
story
yeah.
short, it takes a lot of work. Groundbreaking research takes a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Nature can be rebellious too, which makes it just makes you can make people go a little haywire with the unsettling of nature sometimes.
Yeah.
So also as you're talking right now, I was starting to think about Earth, just Earth itself, and how Earth can. I just thought of like some massive scalar energy satellite dishes, if I'm just even
Yes.
imagining correctly, on space doing stuff to Earth to heal Earth
Yeah.
on that quantum level. I mean,
Yes.
even volcanic activities that really no longer need to be happening, or maybe they do need to be happening, or even to oceanic life that needs some more sustainability or some healing, or just to basically put Earth back in its original temperament, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Thank you.
mean, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. And when Tesla was experimenting with scalar energy, there were no satellites. There were no wires. He did not need substations. He did not need relay stations. So what's the point? Tesla captured that fabric of the universe in which the infrastructure pre-exists. He called it ether. In, in other words, you don't need to build an infrastructure, period. This is, if you will, gargantuan. We spend trillions of dollars every year on infrastructure that in many ways is dangerous. Well, scalar energy is a free infrastructure. That's the key.
That is the key. I love that you said this because as you said this, I was just thinking about all the rockets that I've been seeing the last
Yeah,
week here in California being shot out. And like none of this stuff would even, I mean, wow, talk about saving billions and billions of dollars as well.
yeah.
Oh my
You
God.
know, to put into context, approximately $10 trillion a year is spent on energy generation throughout the world. And this system could reduce that by to the order of 95%. And you would not scar the land. You would not deface Mother Earth. because you don't need resources. The infrastructure, once again, is there. It's the ether in which if you will, this medium pre-exists, and it will allow you to broadcast this energy anywhere in the world. When I work with people, I don't need satellites. I simply
Yeah,
access the ether. I work with people sometimes in Australia. Well, what's the point? I don't need satellites. I don't need cell phone towers, right? So sooner or later, the world's going to realize we don't need that expensive infrastructure.
that totally makes sense. And even right now, as you're saying with people in Australia, I just thought of how there's people that are on a more human level, or uh, non-physical level. There's people that are energy healers that can be all over across the world, and they're able, just by Zoom, looking at you, even just talking, even just thinking of you, send you energy healing. So it makes sense that you're actually working with cosmic energy and being able to transmit that
Right.
and transmute it at the
Yeah.
same time. I mean, almost out of nothing, which is what it would look like to our naked eye.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Here are some functions that I've perfected. And again, the energy is capable of an infinite number of functions because the energy is already produced in a universe with an infinite number of events, an infinite number of circumstances. Well, here's a circumstance. It's called herpes. Some people are infected with the herpes virus.
Yeah.
If I was infected with the herpes virus, this instrument would pick up the energy of herpes in me. How do I do that? I actually place these two photographs in the instrument simultaneously. Now follow my thinking. This photograph of herpes has an energy signal. I have an energy signal. I place these two photographs in the instrument, and what happens? It's a sharing of information. The herpes signal signature is identified in my quantum field, not my biological field, because I'm only working with photographs. And if I had this wrong information, that disease signature in me, the instrument would find the disease signature and eradicate it, remove it, bring it to a state of chaos. So I can negate the herpes virus by energy, reducing the herpes virus to a state of chaos. Thereafter, people tell me, this is their testimony, people say they're no longer infected with herpes.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I mean, this
Working at the level of information, because information dictates everything.
working at the level of information because it dictates everything because it's absolute.
Yes, it is absolute, whereas the effect is not absolute. Why is information intelligence absolute? It's a first principle, it's a first cause. Energy, light, intelligence is a first cause. It cannot be manipulated. Energy is, if you will, obeys the laws of science. It is
Mhm.
primal energy. And the laws of science cannot be manipulated. The laws of energy are sacrosanct. They
Mhm.
cannot be deviated from. They are absolute.
And because they are absolute, it's also sacred, which is makes
Yes.
it divine,
Yes.
divine order.
Yes.
You know, you're actually answering this question. You already answered it, but prior to coming on here and meeting you, I was wondering why light over sound, but because light is the initiation, and it wasn't sound that was the initiation.
Yeah. But I believe once we understand scalar energy, sound will be a traveling partner, and that sound will likewise will be scalar sound, just as profound as scalar light. I've devoted myself to scalar light, but I believe sound would be a counterpart that would be just as magnificent.
I can see that and I can feel that. And the way that I envision sound being a counterpart of it is maybe on in if you wanted to look at it. I was thinking of, so basically what I was thinking, I was imagining is when I see lightning. I mean, you first see the lightning, we just see the light, and then you hear the sound afterwards. It's like, well, depending on what you're treating, and also depending on somebody's circumstance or maybe even finances, I don't know, however you want to say it, and they could choose light over sound, or even depending on the magnitude of whatever being treated, maybe light isn't needed. But however, light might be the fastest way, easiest way, and simplistic way, and the cleanest way rather than sound, because I feel like sound can be vibratory, whereas light, as
Yes.
we're saying, is more absolute and more pure than sound could be, if that makes sense. If I'm
Yeah.
making sense.
No, you are. You are. These are the these are some of the avenues that we have to now discover or rediscover. Maybe Tesla discovered them initially. This is the new and emerging physics. Scalar physics presents to the world a new rule book. The laws of scalar energy are not the laws of electromagnetic energy. What am I getting at, doctor? There's two dimensions. There's two realities. Many times when people say, oh, well, that was a psychic event, you only can have a psychic event by way of scalar energy. Some people say, well, what is pushing the earthquake? Nobody understands what pushes an earthquake. It's scalar energy. So if you're a seismologist, you want to really study up on scalar energy. It's the moving force, it's the animating force behind earthquakes, behind volcanoes. So now that we have a more fluid, if you will, a more mature understanding of nature, now we can really understand geology, astrology. We can understand astrophysics. Now finally we can get it. Now, there's been many astrophysicists have said, well, there's some planet or there's some star that's an anomaly. It's exhibiting a plasma field and it doesn't follow the laws of science. It's not electromagnetic energy. Well, you're absolutely correct. A plasma field in outer space is a scalar energy force field. And no, it's not electricity, it's scalar energy. So once academia wakes up, and they need to wake up and see that there's two energies, and hence there's two explanations for physical phenomenon and non-physical phenomenon, then we're going to make progress.
Oh yeah, definitely. What about working with NASA?
I'm an open book, but I will be the first to say, after all of these years, my work is still being suppressed. And the reason I say that, doctor, because free energy intimidates the powers that be. If this is of merit and if my work is valid and I can prove that, then I can prove that we have a free energy model. And free energy would change the economic order.
Oh yeah.
And for that reason, my research is suppressed.
And that makes sense. Changing the economic order. I can definitely see that you have some walls that you're hitting because of that. Who has opened doors for you?
People, good people like you.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm not saying this to be facetious. It's podcasters like you that have opened their doors and been more than warm and welcoming to my research. To be clear, the government, academia, big business has never once approached me. Not once. Not once. And that's by design. That's not an accident.
Intimidation. Yeah, that's not scalar energy.
But the word is getting out. People are very intelligent. This is a grassroots movement. It always has been. It always will be, and until we have a different economic order, until we have a different governmental structure, we have to move forward through a grassroots effort.
Yes, I mean that's basically how anything starts. You're a frontier man. I mean you're a pioneer.
Yeah, exactly. I am a pioneer. I'm happy to say I'm a pioneer. And I look forward to that. Every day I get up and with enthusiasm, I pursue this trek, this, if you will, solitary path. I'm not against that. I relish the fact that people support my work. I relish the fact that people are with me. And as a grassroots movement, frankly, we are unstoppable. You cannot stop the consciousness of the people. You cannot stop global consciousness.
Well, you can't because that is scalar energy.
Yeah, it is. Yes, thank you so much. Many people have described consciousness, and indeed that is a valid concept. What is consciousness? It's scalar energy. It's the intelligence of the universe. It's the divine intelligence. So those of you who've ever wanted to work at a higher level, the level of consciousness, the level of divine intellect, this is it. You cannot, there's nothing pure than scalar energy. There's nothing more majestic than scalar energy.
You said the word right on, majestic. Definitely majestic. I have a question for you, I guess on a personal level. You said that it's a path of solitude and that you're a pioneer, and at the same time, this is your passion, this is your driving force. Do you feel that you were born, that this is a mission, like a predestined mission path for yourself?
Yes, yes. God appointed me. God gave me the wisdom for this. God gave me the endurance for this. Yes, this is my mission. Yeah. And God has provided me all the necessary gifts.
Absolutely. And you've been open to it since you were sixth grader,
Yes.
constantly.
Yes. Yeah. And frankly, that's what it takes. Why is it taking me so long? Because it's so laborious. Any discovery sometimes takes months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
No, I've conducted some experiments and they were successful within a short period of time. I've conducted a series of experiments and all those series of experiments have failed. Now, I was working with cancer for a long time, actually for a good 20 years. And recently I came upon this new process in which I can download a scalar wave into DNA, and I'm having great results. So after 20 years of looking for the answer for the solution, cure of cancer, I'll let you know how I'm doing in the next year or so.
I'm,
I'm not going to make any comments now, but I have to prove it. But over the next year or two, I'll let you know.
oh, please do. I'd love to have you back.
Yeah.
And so let's say somebody decides to have one of your services, one of the Scalar Light services, either for obesity or for some illness, arthritis or whatnot. Uh, how many sessions, light sessions, do they need?
Yeah. Everybody's different. I can't answer that. It's a very good question. Some people say after 2 or 3 months they feel better. Others will say it's taken them 6 months. Some people sign up for a year, and after a year, they feel that their health is restored. Um, I would say it really depends on the person and the circumstances. I've worked with some people now with, say, autoimmune disease or, say, with Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. We're starting to see good success after 3 or 4 or 5 months, but it's not instantaneous. Only God can cure instantaneously. I cannot.
Mhm. And the instantaneous portion part of it, do you think that perhaps, or do you feel that perhaps that also has something to do with your technology still advancing? Like perhaps
Oh
there's
yeah.
something that needs more advancement that could be a little more specific, just as you showed me right now with the DNA and the helix and bringing those two. I mean, maybe when you get more of an energetic signature, more specifically for a specific ailment, disease, or disease, disharmony, then you're able to restore the balance more specifically with
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. To answer all of those, yes, yes, yes. As I learn more and as God reveals more to me, I'll perfect this process. And in so doing, that the healing should be accelerated and we should have greater healing all across the board. That day is coming. But keep in mind, when I work with this instrument, I have to rely upon testimonies of people. Now, to make this very clear, working through a photograph, I can detect and eradicate a disease signal on the photograph. But most of the people who send me photographs, I never meet them. So what's my point? I have to rely upon testimonies. And the
Right.
testimony is anecdotal. Nobody can prove a connection between a photograph and a person. I cannot. That's how new this science is. It's presumed by many. There's a theory that we're quantum entangled, but we still have to rely upon testimonies because there's no way to test, prove, or disprove my work. There's no way to prove or disprove scalar energy.
That's the majestic part of it.
Yeah, you're right. It is majestic. It leaves us baffled. To this day,
Mhm.
we're baffled. For me to say I can eradicate a disease signal on a photograph, and in turn, people feel better, but sometimes within a short order of 3 to 4 weeks, that's baffling. I've got theories. Can I prove them? No, it's too new of a science.
Mhm. But you will be able to. I mean, just the mere fact
Yes,
that the mere fact that scalar energy is giving you theories, is giving you the opportunity to test your own
yes,
hypothesis and find your own
right.
answers, which you already know already exists within you, and just waiting for the right moment for it to basically spring into resolution.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can prove it on paper, at least in theory, that this is working. Now, if a group, some other scientific group could duplicate my work, well, then what are the odds that two groups working independently having the same or nearly the same outcome? How is that to be rationalized away? It cannot be.
It can't
So
be.
I'm looking for another scientific body or amateur scientist to work with me or to work independently and either prove or disprove my work. Now keep in mind when you're working with energy, you can't fool energy. You
Mm-mm.
can't pull any punches. So if you work
Mhm.
according to these laws of science, these laws of scalar physics, my work could probably be easily duplicated because light doesn't make a mistake. Light does not make a mistake. People make mistakes. And if somebody follows my scalar light principles, my scalar light theories, they'll probably derive the same conclusions that I will.
I agree with you, and that would be incredible. I also like how you said it'd be great if you had a fellow scientist that you can work with to even try to prove you wrong. Because in
Yeah,
proving you wrong, he didn't say those words, but that's how I understood it. Because
yeah,
in even them trying to prove you wrong, you just can't prove you can't. There is no wrong in divine order.
you're right. You're right. And frankly, if I'm working with an energy instrument that doesn't rely upon human reasoning or human action, and somebody else had this identical instrument and they're not going to rely upon human action, human reasoning, then they're probably going to have the identical outcome. You see,
Yes.
with energy, we eliminate human reasoning, we eliminate human error. That's so important. I want to make that very clear to your audience. What's the problem with some of our scientific methods? People get involved, people make mistakes, or you're subject to some type of chemical reaction. I
Right.
don't work with people. I don't work with human action. I don't work with chemicals. I work with intelligence that never makes a mistake.
That's right. Divine intelligence.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
so I have another one more question here. So going back to your website, I was looking at the fat metabolism program. And so in understanding this correctly, you get somebody's image and then it, how would you how do you then how do they lose weight from this fat metabolism?
Yeah,
Do you have like fat
yeah,
cells, a picture of fat
yeah,
cells
yeah.
or
That's
yeah.
a good point. I will download photographs of hormones or photographs of enzymes that seem to suppress the appetite. So what's the problem with people who are obese or eat too much? If you send the corrective instructions to that person, they're not going to want to eat so much. That's how this works. What's the problem? Well, the major problem with obesity or fat metabolism is people are eating too much. So I instruct the body not to be hungry. If there's some type of psychological underpinning here. We have
Yes.
to overcome that. People don't need to eat as much as they think they do. And if we also can send in the corrective behavior, so not only correcting their information field, but correcting their behavior, they're going to cut down on eating. And I hope fat metabolism will serve to send the instructions to better metabolize their food.
That makes sense. How I can see definitely how if the instructions are sent to stop the repetitive pattern
Yeah,
of somebody wanting to eat more than is intended for the human body's
correct,
intended to,
correct.
and in correcting these instructions, I guess I can feel and I can see that in the future and as your technology advances, it'd be able to work on the psychological level, whatever's
Yes.
triggering that, because that
Ye-
also thought transmission has a frequency, has an aura, has its own
Yes.
energy field.
Yeah.
And so those specific thoughts or even that specific glitch or trauma or whatever caused it can I feel can for sure go back to its original state of well, I'm actually seeing a straight line as I'm thinking this rather than an up and down, up and down. And I don't mean flat line. I just mean out of order and more in harmony.
Yeah. Let's take this example. Within a family, let's say among siblings, let's say you have two or three children that are healthy and one sibling that's overweight. Well, that's the same genetic stock. That's the same biological mother and father. What happened? Well, a number of things happen. Maybe in part, it's a poor attitude. It's the desire to overeat. Whereas their sister or brother is fit. Well, it's the same genetic stock once again. It's from the same family. What happened? So I hope that this instructive behavior will instruct people not to eat as much. How does that work? Well, it's non-physical instructions. Does it have a chemical action in the long run? Probably, but I can't prove that.
Hmm. Well, ultimately, if hypothetically speaking, if and when the instruction has been restructured to help a person not eat so much, ultimately they're going to start to see themselves shed the weight, and that's going to naturally boost their chemicals biologically and improve any other, let's say, depression or anxieties that they had about themselves physically. So it's going to have a domino effect in the most positive way, because you're doing this for divine purpose, for the greater good of them, and then you're going to have a greater good result because of the intention was there. There's an initial intention, which is the initiation, which is the light. That is the initiation, is the intention. And
Yes.
so, I mean, that's incredible and remarkable. And I can see, just thinking here outside the box, that ultimately there will be able to be the instruction to cure a lot of diseases, mental diseases such as schizophrenia. I mean, if you're already looking, I mean, people look at light, specific light therapy. People are missing the sun's energy and they're getting depressed because of it. They need vitamin D. I mean, what if you're able to just give them different type of light therapy in the quantum way, so that they can have it in every part, every cell of their body, rather than just their skin cells, or rather than just the eyes or their hair or their crown. So I mean, I just see this. It just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah, thank you so much for seeing that. Yeah, it is the big picture. So to put all of this in a nutshell, this is a new science. Scalar science is non-physical. We're working in a different realm. We're no longer working in the electromagnetic spectrum. We're working in the realm of spirit, or the realm of non-physical reality. And with
Mm-hmm.
that, this presents an entirely new vista, an entirely new universe opens up to us, in which what we cannot do in the physical realm, we can readily accomplish in the non-physical realm. Why? We transcend time and space. This is the
Yeah.
angelic realm. We're no
Yes.
longer bound by time and space. We're no longer, if you will, the parameters of time and space do not factor in. Physical reality can be overcome. We don't have to deal with physical reality. So we're working at the level of cause. It's so important to realize. And in so doing, we have a command over nature. We once again have a command over nature.
Well, because there's always been a command over nature. It's always
Yeah.
existed.
Yes, it has. Through prayer, through thought, through intention. Yes, it has. So what am I saying? This is a prayer instrument. I'm proving that prayer is valid. Prayer has an analog, a scientific analog. It's scalar energy. Scalar energy is a scientific explanation for prayer or meditation.
It because it is all consciousness.
Yes, all consciousness, not an electron or a proton involved. Exactly.
Yes. And it's not unconscious or subconscious, it's alive. And that's what makes it all consciousness.
Yes, it's alive. It's all encompassing. It's yes, indeed. It's universal. The energy fills the universe. It is omnipresent. It's the all-seeing eye of God. It's consciousness. It is the all-seeing eye of God.
Oh man, I just love this so much. And so, in the realm of non physical reality, meaning multidimensional and crosses space time, it's infinite intelligence, it's all consciousness, it's what always has been and always will be, it's pure, it's divine, it's angelic, it's fundamental. These are the building blocks of life. And
Yes.
it's almost as if this is
Yes.
the non-physical DNA helix of what we're calling magic here, or in this physical reality we'd call magic, whereas magic has always existed, because what is non-physical will always become physical, and what is physical will eventually become non-physical, which is it's an infinite plane.
Yes. Bravo. That's well put. Well put. And if you understand that from the logic of intelligence and how intelligence dictates nature. Before you do anything, you need intelligence, instructions. If
Yeah.
you're going to drive a car, you better know how to drive the car. You have the inbuilt intelligence, you have years of experience. So your driving experience, your driving intelligence allows you to travel from point A to point B in a safe fashion. But let's face it, as a newborn baby, you do not have that intelligence to drive a car. So, by way of analogy, if it takes intelligence to drive a car, it takes intelligence to maintain the universe. And once you're in the driver's seat of scalar energy, you can maintain the universe.
This is amazing. I just I just had another thought as you were saying this. You're talking about maintaining the universe, driver's seat, and I just had this expansive thought of computer run, computer like run, all by scalar divine order. And if something is scalar energy only, and things evolve to what is, especially in the capacity of the greater good for divine purpose, then that could even change the algorithms of things to
Yes,
be in its proper order and
yes,
bring peace to the world.
exactly. That's what this chakra balancing does. If I can balance the chakra of millions of people and bring them back to the state of consciousness, some connection with God, that will have a profound influence on the world.
It really would. Peace to the world.
Yes, yes, by correcting their thinking, by correcting their judgment, by correcting their conscience, that they can distinguish between right and wrong.
Yes. Oh my goodness, Tom, this is amazing. You're amazing. High five. I mean, double high five. You
thank,
rock. This
thank you,
is really
doctor.
amazing. I wish you so much. I mean, oh, I wish I was the man in charge here to just say open all the gates and all the doors for this gentleman, and let's, do this with the with the clear intention I mean, just to be in the right divine mentality here for the greater good of all. And so the answers are here, and you've got an incredible, incredible world that you've created for the world. I mean, starting with yourself, because you just basically allowed yourself to be creative and to allow creativity. And in this creativity, you allowed the genius, the natural genius that exists within all of us, but
Right.
within you specifically, and feeling that you're chosen and allowing yourself to be chosen to do this. And you're doing it with so much pride, honor, and humility. And I'm really proud of you. I'm happy for you. And I wish you all the best. And in my meditations, you'll be sure for me to be
Please.
you'll be receiving my scalar energy from Los Angeles area, Los Angeles County over here.
Thank you, sir. That's
So I
really
have a
kind
poem
of you.
here that I wrote. I thought about I've been a poet since I was a little kid. It's a really short poem, but I was when I was done on your website and kind of just feeling into your energy. So I'm just gonna read this poem really, really quick, and then at the very end, you can tell us where our viewers, our watchers, and our listeners can find you, your healing modalities, and your website. So here it is. This is for Tom Paladino. The universe is conspiring in our favor. Since the beginning of time, awareness are within what is unseen. For the naked eye cannot multiply what is within space. In this realm of vitality, I pull from the cosmic energy to connect humanity towards their greatest potential of wellness, as the universe intended. And in this expansive infinity, there is only oneness. And in one, we are well being.
It's very nice, beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
that's accurate. In the oneness, we are all united. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. We're well being in the oneness,
Yeah.
which is what we're all seeking, well being.
Which is the steady state, the perfect state, which is the state of intelligence, the state of scalar energy, where nothing can go wrong because it's a first principle. The reason we have mistakes in life was we deviate from the first cause, and the effect is always flawed. If you keep it at the level of light, you cannot make a mistake.
I love this. You cannot make a mistake with light. You just can't.
No, you can't. It's
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah. Oh, wow, this has been amazing. Tom Paladino, everybody here on a Little Less Fear podcast. Where can our viewers or watchers and listeners find you?
The website is scalarlight.com, SCALAR. Visit the website, please. We have offer. Anybody in the world can sign up for 15 days of free sessions. Try those 15 days. We'll make a believer out of you after 15 days.
This is incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your divine light and your divine wisdom with me and the world. Continue on your magical path. You've got my support 100%. Wishing you and your loved ones the light, love, and happiness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How kind.